how many of you are new to Designer? Just type new in the chat box, or at least new to these webinars. Is this the first webinar? Then I know how to do this. New. Okay. All right, quite a few. Okay, so the first, a couple of all right, so Eric's new to webinar but been using Designer for a month. Okay, cool. So all right, so what I'm going to do, we're going to cover some issues that come up through support, okay, and cover off how to handle those. And because so many people are completely new to this to Designer, I'm just going to do a couple of basics as well, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. Okay, so essentially, with the principles of the app. First of all, as you know, there are help videos right here, but more importantly, the textual help, okay, is all at learn.designer.io, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that, because this is where we cover any issues that come up in support. You can literally go to learn.designer and you can search it, okay, and I'm going to put that link in the chat box just there so you can all see it, okay. And so you can type anything here, so type in image, okay, and search it, and it comes up with all these, like how to insert an image, import, edit, wrap text, and all our webinar replays are all here too, okay. So if you look down the left hand side, this is where all the replays go, and there's a lot of training obviously in all these. All the training videos that are also accessible from the help up here are also put in there, okay. So first of all, I just want to make sure you're all aware of that, because that is the best place to go first before logging a question in support. And then with the actual app itself, okay, then these are the things that you should be focusing on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a blog post. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Designer blog, and I'm going to grab just the first one there, and I'm going to grab that URL, okay, and then go into Designer and literally create new project, put in the URL, click on next. Okay, so now it's going to load up the templates that are available to you, and you can simply choose on one that you like, give it a name, so we'll call it Webby1, click on create, and this takes a few seconds while it loads that URL, and as it comes in, it starts doing all the formatting and everything like that, and putting it on screen. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's our import, okay, and I'll show you how to clean this up in a second. All right, I'll just scroll down. Okay, this is the whole thing coming, right? So the first couple of things you might want to do is you might decide that the overall look and feel and the fonts, are not what you want, okay? So the first thing I do is just go to themes, and if I'm not happy with this, then I can try another theme, okay, try another style. So I clicked on that, and now the font's changed to a different style, and it's changed to like a lighter gray, okay. Obviously this one's like a blue background, white on blue, and there's quite a few in here that you can click on, and adjust them instantly. All right, so this is the first thing that I would do, is just make sure you're happy with the overall look, and you can change all these just like with that one click. So maybe we'll just settle on this one for now. Okay, so the next thing, all right, is what is the headers and footers. Okay, so am I happy with this color background, so this peachy kind of look? All right, so let's say I'm not. So what I can do is click on the background there. Okay, so it's selected the container. Go to background, and then select a different kind of color, for that background. Okay, so I can select like a dark blue, for example, in this case, right? And if I want the same one for the header as the footer, then a quick way to do that is just to copy this color code. So this is the color code for that blue I selected. Click on choose and then select this one. So now I've selected the header, go back to color again and put in, so I'm pasting in that color code again, yeah, and doing that in there. Oh, I didn't select it. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay. Now, obviously, what's happened now is the text has gone, it basically contrasts with the blue, or doesn't contrast with the blue. So I need to change the text here to a lighter color. So I go to text style for that text, and here's the color. And I'm just going to change this now to a white color, so now it stands out. Okay. All right, now you see now the colors have all been changed throughout the whole document. Okay, but there are situations where you want to have a different header for a different page. Okay, so just for the sake of argument, let's say this one here, I want to change this one to just increase conversions on your blog. Okay, so that one's different now to that one, and so that might be fine. That might be what you want to do. But what happens if you want this now to be the same throughout the whole document? Okay, so then what you can do is click on this H symbol, and you see that pop up that says apply text to all headers. Okay, and if I click on that now, then it will apply that same title to all the headers throughout the whole document. All right, type in the chat box, let me know you're following along. Okay, just in case I'm talking to a blank audience. Got it, says Eric. All right, cool. Okay, so that's how you do that. So let's assume that that's all good now. Then the next thing you might want to do is look at the layout. Now, before I move on, what I'm going to do is just do a save. Okay, now every time I do a save here, it saves this whole version. Okay, and I can come back to this whole version later on in a minute. Okay, so it's like a snapshot in time. Okay, so now what I want to do is clean up some of the text. Okay, so for example, I don't want this this bit of this date here. Okay, so I just highlight it and delete it. Okay, I'm just going to zoom down, see if there's anything else that's come in. That's all fine. Let's just go to the end. Okay, so I don't want this here. I don't want this date. Just highlight it, click delete. Don't want that there. What's that icon? I don't want that there. Okay, so this is just cleaning up the text. Okay, I got a blank page at the end there. I need to sort that in a minute. Okay, everything else textual wise I'm happy with. Okay, so at the front here though, this image, this is not going to look so cool on the blog. Okay, because like the text starts there and the image is just right there on the front. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that image down a bit. Okay, and I'm going to pull it down here. Oops. There's the image. Okay, and then what I'm going to want to do is I want to kind of contextualize it. So I want to put it within the paragraph. Okay, and so what I can do is to click on this icon called float, and I can shrink. Okay, I can shrink my image. Now I can either do this freeform, and you can see all the images changing, changing not proportionately, or I can hold down the shift key and do the same thing, and now the image changes proportionally. Okay, so I keep the dimensions of the image correct. Okay, and so now I've got that there, and I'm going to put it on the right hand side. Okay, and so now I've got my text, my book starting properly. Okay, I'm happy with that. I've got my image now like in context, within the text. The text itself is a bit too close to the image, so then there's this tool here called margin, and I can just put like a 10 pixel margin here, and you see it just puts a little margin around the text, so it looks a little bit neater, and now the image is more optimized. Okay, so now I'm just going to do another save, okay, because that's where I am. It gives me an opportunity to go back if I need to. Let's just have a look at the other images. Is this image too big? Okay, perhaps it is, so I might shrink that one down a bit. And I might, let's put that in context as well, or float we call it actually. Scroll down a bit. Let's look at the other images. So that one again, way too big for a book really. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Now I don't have to float it within a paragraph. I can literally click on left, center, or right, if I want to have it just like that. And again, another big image. So let's put that one to the right. In fact, maybe we'll float this one into this text. So I'm going to move that text up like that. I think the image is still too big there, so I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Might do that a little bit more. My go-to webinar screen's in the way. Okay, and I'll show you how to adjust this text in a minute. Okay. All right, so I think my images are just about there. Okay, that image needs to be pulled in a bit. There we go. My go-to webinar screen is right in the way. Yeah, there we go. Put the margin on. Okay, and so you've got all this blank space here. So let me just check first of all, I've done all the images. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to just clean up some blank space. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to the top. All right, and then so anything that I want to adjust, so like this paragraph now I can drag up. Maybe I'll just squeeze that one in there as well. That's all good. Keep going down. So I'm just looking now, have I filled my pages nicely? Okay, so this one can come up. This one can come up. How does that look? This paragraph can come up. And I think this one can too. Okay. So now I've got a big blank space here. So I think this one can come up. Let's move these two up, like that. Okay. Okay, so I've actually got a whole blank page here between these two sections. So what I'm going to do is just remove this whole page. So I'm just going to click in the blank page and go to the right here where it says select page, and that's selected that whole page now. And then I can just click on the trash icon and it's just deleted it and moved everything up for me. Okay, so everything's coming up fine. And then we're at the end, so I'm just going to move this one up. and then I'm going to delete this page. Oops, I'm going to delete this page here. And I got one more to delete at the end here. Okay, so that's my document pretty much done. I'm going to just save another snapshot right now. And then I'm going to go to the top and just adjust the title and the author. Okay, so first of all, if you have a container, try not to delete or remove these containers, because these are what add to the whole structure of the document. So for example, there's a container here for, the footer. If you don't want a container, just make it transparent, rather than try to delete it, because then the document will lose its structure. Okay. Most of these are locked anyway, so you shouldn't be able to, but sometimes people do try to get rid of it, whereas all you need to do is actually just make a container transparent. So for example, I can take this container and then I can go to the background, go to color, and adjust the transparency slider right to the end here. Okay, and you can see it's gone transparent. Okay. So don't do that with containers. Now let's just change this title. So anything I click on here, I can free format, drag and drop. Okay, so wherever I want it, so I can put it right in the middle there. Okay, I can expand it, I can move it around, and I can obviously change the font as well. Okay, and to change the font, I click on font style, go to text style here, and the font gets loaded here automatically, or I can click on Google Fonts, and I can search for Google font if I know one that I like in particular, or I can just select one just like that, and it will just change it on the fly. Okay, and then I want to change the background image. Okay, so I'm just going to do another snapshot here. I'm doing this quite a lot because I want to show you what happens at the end. So now I want to change this background image, so I'm going to do select page, okay, because I want to change the background image for the whole page. And then I can go here, go to image, and then into Media Manager, and search for an image. So I'm going to search for Northern Lights. This can look, only because I did this earlier, and I know it looks quite good. Okay, so lots of really cool images here, so I'm just going to select one of these, and it goes in like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to change the author. Okay, so again, I want to make this a white color. Okay, or I can change the container, to make this maybe a lighter color, which will make the text stand out more. Okay, so maybe I'll make it a little bit darker, and then perhaps adjust the transparency to allow some of the background to come through. That makes it look a little bit more polished. Double click that to put my name in it. Okay, do another save. Okay, so we're just about there, right? So let me just quickly check the chat box. So Clover's saying, how do I select the Media Manager? Okay, so what I did is I went to here, so I clicked on the page, and then I clicked on this select page, and on the left hand side I clicked image, and at the top of the image it says Media Manager. Okay, and that's what pulls up the Media Manager. Let me show you where else you can do that. Okay, so let's say I want to put an image in here. Okay, so what I can do is I go to Elements, I go to Media, and I grab an image. So I'm holding down the mouse and I'm dragging it in. Okay, and I can drop this placeholder that says designer in between a paragraph or into a paragraph, depending on whether I want to float it or I want it to be in the middle. Okay, so there is my placeholder, and then within this little menu that appears at the top, there's a little M. Okay, and this M, if I click on that, it'll pop up my Media Manager again. And so here's a couple of little tips. So obviously you've seen the search function. Anything I upload into my project or into my account, gets stored here in my images. So any images that I previously uploaded are all here. Okay. If you have a pro account, then you'll have a lot of cover images. These are all professionally designed cover images that are all available to you. Or you can grab an image from a URL as well. And the way to do that is, if I'm going to, this site, let's just grab another image just to show you what this looks like. So let me just find an image down here that's suitable. So this image here, okay, so let's say I want this image. Then what I do is I right click on that. Okay, my menu pops up in Chrome, and I click copy image address, and that copies that image URL to my clipboard. And then in Designer, then I can paste it in here. Okay, so I've got that image, and I click on use image, yeah, and then it pulls it, into Designer for you. Okay. Obviously that's way too big, so I'm going to hold down the shift key, and drag it and make it a bit smaller, and then I can center it, and do everything else that you've already seen. Okay, so with any image that's come in, there's a couple of other things that you might not know you can do. So first of all, there's the edit icon. Okay, if I click on edit, up pops a photo editor in place, right? So, and I can put a style straight on that image, and I can click on effects, and I can change the whole look of an image, literally with a couple of clicks, and click on apply. Okay, or I can crop, resize, do all the usual stuff, or even put some text on here. Okay, so there's a text tool there as well, or I can just draw on it as well. Okay. So click apply, click save, okay, and then it updates that image and puts it in back into the Word document. Okay, so type in chat box, let me know you're all still following me. Okay, covering quite a lot of content here, so if you want to watch it on the replay, that's absolutely fine. Cool, everyone's still following that again. William's saying, can you do that again? So all you do is click on any image. Let's find another image. Okay, just for the sake of it, click on any image and click edit. Okay, and that pops up this photo editor. Okay, and with the photo editor, yeah, then you can apply all these different tools to that. Okay, so I can put this silly image here, for example. Okay, and put that in there as well. All right, so that's how you can edit in place, and make little tweaks to images, as you're working through the document. So a couple of other things. Now, let's say you want to import another URL. Then, remember what you can do is you go to Elements here, okay, and you go to New Article, and you can drag an article into the bottom here. Okay, you can either put in the URL as normal, or you can import manually. Okay, and it will just apply it to the bottom of that document. So what I'm going to do is before I do that, I'm going to do that on a new document because I wanted to show you this version revisions that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so I've saved that. Remember, you can do a preview in place so you can see what it looks like. Close the preview, click on publish to actually create the PDF, and it will create that PDF, in a new tab for you. Okay. Okay, so there's my PDF all ready to go. Now, if I go out of the editor and I have my projects all loading up, okay, then this icon here called Project Versions History is where I can go back to previous steps within my project. So if something's happened, I made a big mistake and it's the undo doesn't take me back enough steps, okay, then I can go back to previous saves that I've done. Yeah, so obviously this was the last one, and then I can go back here and I click on preview, and it will show me what the project looked like at that stage. Yeah, and then if I like it, I can click on revert and it will load that project back in for me. Okay, so I can go all the way back. Really, really useful tool. Okay. Anyway, so assuming I've finished that now, then I can click on, I want to create an e-cover, for example. And so I'm going to create a, oops, I've just done that again. So I'm going to create a 3D e-cover. Let me show you what that does. Okay. So straight away it's created that, and I can change from hardback to a paperback look. And once I'm happy with that, I can select whether I want it large or small, or even just a flat look, and it puts a drop shadow on there. And I click on generate image, and it will create, that image in a new window for me. Okay, so that's now all ready to use, on my blog or wherever I want, and I can just right click, save that image, and put it on my blog, ready. Okay. So it's nice to have that all in one tool and accessible, straight away. Obviously that's a pro feature, but I think many of you are pro on this call anyway. Okay, so that's how to do that. All right. Now I was going to show you how to do additional inserting new docs. Okay, so if I reopen my project, and then I'm going to scroll down, I want to put another document right at the end. Okay, so I go to elements, I go to new article, and I drag that in. So again, as I said, I can put the URL in, or I can do import manually. So it's useful to work with import manually, because sometimes you won't get an import working. Okay, and so for some, let me just find my blog again. Here it is. So for some blogs we have trouble importing, and if you do have one you have trouble importing, then let us know, paste it into the support box, and our developers can add it to our algorithm. But in the meantime, while they're working on that, then you might want to still pull text in, right? So what you can do then is just highlight content like that, and copy it. Oops, I want to copy. There we go, and copy it into here. Okay, and you can edit in place there. Okay, so this is just a straightforward text editor. So if you see some text you want to amend or add or anything like that, you can just do it right there really quickly. Put in a little title. Okay, so let's put this as the addendum. Oops, addendum. Okay, I'm not going to bother with a URL here. Click on next, and it just pulls it straight in here. Okay, notice the style is all applied and everything is just applied immediately. The other thing you can do, of course, is take content from Word as well. So when you drag that into there, click on import manually again, and then if I go to Word, let's get some content. So let's just take some content there. I just right click, copy, go into here, and I'm going to paste it in there. So addendum 2. Okay, and it pulls it straight in from Word as well and applies all the same styles and everything, right? So as you can see, it's really, really easy to, stylize your book very, very quickly. The one thing I would say is, if you're writing a book from scratch, write it in Word or on your blog first. Yeah. Designers designed to do the layout, the tweaking, make it look pretty. Okay. But it's not a text editor, right? So what you don't want to do, excuse me, is, start typing from scratch just here. Okay. And the real thing to do is to type it into Word or into a blog post or something like that, and then pull it into Designer. Okay, so I've covered most of what I want to cover today, so type in the chat box, let me know if there's anything else that what you want me to cover. Okay. So Scott's saying, can you use your own logo in the photo editor? I don't think you can, Scott. Okay, so let's just go back to the photo editor. So basically you want your logo in here. So you kind of want to put an image over an image that already exists. And I don't think there's any way you can actually add, upload an image into this. Okay. So you can't actually do that here. I know exactly what you mean, because in our in Kudani, our other app, you can do that. Okay, so you can set up templates for your images, and our photo editor in Kudani does specifically let you customize your pictures. Can you upload the brand logo to Designer? Yeah, so Clover is just saying, so wherever you're in the Media Manager here, you can upload images, okay? So with this button here, just click Upload Image, right? Select the image and, pull it in, and it'll stay here. So all your logos and everything like that can all go in there. How do you insert a page break? Another good question, okay? So to put a page break in, decide where you want to go, obviously. Go to Elements, yeah, and click on page header and drag that in. Okay, and what happens is it puts it, oops, let's do that again. I think it's page header. Let's put it in here. There you go. Yeah, so that's my new page break. Okay, so this page header is what creates a new blank page. Can Designer create fillable forms, says Richard. So what you can do is add tables. Okay, so you go to Elements and you go to, I think it's Typography, drag in a table. Okay, then this is where you can put form layouts and things like that. Okay, but only in table style. Okay. So Richard, I hope that helps you there. Just say, Eric is just asking about lists. Yeah, so lists are, so within here, I think you've got unbulleted list, which is called an unordered list. Okay, so you can put that in like that. When it pulls lists in, so for example, if I go to Word, do this. Sometimes these can be a little bit tricky to format. So let's go to the end here and let's add that list in. Okay, it pulls it in okay, but sometimes it's difficult to drag and drop these to, different places. So if I highlight that, it's called OL, which stands for ordered list, right? And these are the individual items within an ordered list. So an ordered list has numbers, an unordered list is just bullets. These are very much standard HTML terms, I know, but that's how to understand it. And so, yeah, it can get a little difficult to move these around, but it should work reasonably okay. Okay, just looking through the chat box now. Oh, so one thing to understand, that when you're navigating these individual elements, up here is like a breadcrumbs bar of where you are. So, for example, I've highlighted a list item, which is there, which is inside an OL, which is an ordered list. So let's say I have trouble selecting the ordered list. I can click on it here, and it will select it for me. Okay, and then I can click on that and move it around. Okay. So Chloe was just asking about moving content around. So that was, if you remember the beginning of the demo, that's exactly what I was doing. So I was trying to fill in these blank spaces by moving content. So, for example, this table, so here's an example of what I was just saying. So here's the table, and I've selected a table item, right? It's difficult to select the whole table, because when I click on it, it selects the whole container. But I can go up to here and click on table, and that will select the table for me. Yeah. And so then I should be able to just drag that up to the previous screen and fill in that blank space. Okay. So Clover, that should help you out with that. How do I paste in email? William's saying. So William, are you saying, well, how do I paste text from an email into here? I think that might be what you were saying. I'm just going to, while you're answering that, I'm just going to work on Ron's question. So Ron was saying, when I worked in table, I could not edit the table. I could change what was there, but I could not add or delete rows. So here's a table. And if you right click on a table, you can add rows after or before. Okay, right click and you get this little menu coming up. Okay, and that's how you add rows. See, I've added like a row after and a row before where I was. Yeah. Okay, cool. Everyone hear me okay? So we're coming to the end of the training session today. I think we covered quite a lot of questions, and type in the chat box, let me know how you found that today. Eric's asking about page numbers. We're working on that right now, Eric, to be honest. And I haven't got a manual way of doing it. I'll have to work on that, see if there's something we can do there for you. Dave says really useful, great stuff. Clover, the replay should be going up tonight. Okay, so go to the Learn Designer site. Okay. Michael's saying this is really helpful. I'm a newbie and this has really helped understand the tool. Brilliant. Kalani saying big help. Thanks. Great stuff, says Eric. Great training, says Yvette. Richard, great session. Cool. Brilliant. All right, guys. So thanks for that. Let us know how you're getting on with Designer. By all means, share it. What we're working on right now is the export to Kindle function and the table of contents builder, which includes page numbering. Okay, so who's asked about that? That was Ron asking about that. So that's what we're working on right now. Affiliate links, I'm going to be doing that right this week. Okay, so I will be sending you guys out an email on how to promote this as an affiliate. All right, so that you can refer it to friends or generate some real cash for you guys. You should all have had your bonus link, which has the content marketing for dummies. Let's just paste that down here. So that has the content marketing for dummies download and a few other things as well. Some more images and things like that is on that page. If you are not pro and you wanted to get pro, then here's the link as well for you guys. Okay, cool. All right, so that's the end of the session, guys. Thanks for joining. This will go up in the Learn Designer Center, and keep the support coming. Let us know how we can make this better for you, and thanks for enjoying the training. Thanks a lot.